So, Jason, what are we doing today?
We are going to review a board game.
A board game, but we normally do video games, TV shows, and, comics and that kind of stuff. We never did board games.
Right. Well, we're sick of that crap.
What?
No, that's not the truth.
I mean, we did do games, but what are you trying to say?
Yeah.
What are you trying to say?
I don't know. I think so. Since we are really getting into board games lately, we've decided we want to start reviewing them, but can't really do first impressions of board games because
why not?
Your first impression of a board game is, holy crap, there are so many pieces. This is going to take forever to learn.
Maybe.
And that's pretty much the same first impression I've had about most games we've opened up. Holy crap, this looks intense. Right?
Yeah.
So we're going to dive in a little bit more, get to know these board games a little bit better, and a new show that we're calling Game Night.
Game Night?
Game Night.
We do Game Night like twice a week now.
I know, which is going to make it really easy to do these reviews, hopefully.
Maybe you should join us sometime.
Yeah.
Do you guys like playing games?
Hopefully. Yeah. This is K.C'arl Lee. I'm Jaysen Headley. And let's get started on our first game. Alright, so our very first game is a game called Takenoko. This is put out by Antoine Bauza. I have no idea how to say your last name, so I apologize for that. And it's published by Asmodee Games. That's not who's there, but it is published by them, and that's Bombix. Alright, so this game deals with the idea that the Chinese Emperor and the Japanese Emperor, they were in a finally good time after a lot of war, so the Chinese Emperor, as you see in this fancy comic book, which is incredibly historically accurate, gives the Japanese Emperor a panda as a goodwill gift. So in this game, you're basically playing as, you're trying to complete these quests with this gardener and this little panda, and you're trying to grow bamboo, but the gardener wants to grow bamboo, but the panda wants to eat the bamboo, and all the while you are some outer world force trying to complete tasks. So let's get to talking a little bit more about this game.
So I'm going to talk about Takenoko Yoko Ono. The pieces, Takenoko pieces. And here we have the panda. And then we also got this guy. He's the gardener. He looks... Oh, look at his mustache. I don't know, that's a weird thing going on in him. But he's the gardener. And we have a lot of little pieces. We have these little boards that are for each of the players. So I guess it's for 4 players. And on the board, it's got some great art. And these are different actions that you could take, and these are special ability from the weather, and this is supposed to be like irrigation, and these are special tiles that you put on the board. But let me show you what the board is. The board is basically all these pieces here, but on the other side are basically different plots of land that are pink, orange, yellow, well, there's no orange, and green. And when you put them together, they form a board like that. And when you get that one, it means it'll grow double. When I mean grow double, because we grow pieces of bamboo, pink bamboo, on pink plots of land, like this. So it grows like that. And it can only go up to 4. Whee! And then we also got yellow. Yellow grows on a yellow one like that. And then the green. Okay, so now it looks like a big piece of mess, right? But I'm going to show you what it will look like, basically. And then you basically have cards, see? And there's like all these mini cards. I like these games that have these minier cards. Smaller cards like that. And some of them are with the gardener, and some of them are for the emperor, which I didn't introduce, and this is for the panda. And they all have like little objectives of their own. They're like missions. And so the emperor, where did I put the emperor? I lost, oh, this is the emperor here. And this is the emperor who wants to garden and has the panda. And so these are the irrigation here. This connects everything together between all the different plots of land and
I don't know if that's how that works.
Like that. This is a really difficult game sometimes. Wait. It's like what's that game, Jenga? Except it's with water and bamboo. See, that one's really difficult. And then these pieces here, you put on your personal player board to count each one of your actions. You can do 2 per round. And we also got these special thingies that you put on a plot of land. This helps to irrigate it. That says panda can't eat off of that one. And this one, bamboo grows twice as big. And then we got the weather die. Oh, it's the sun. So all the pieces are really nice. cardboard, quality cardboard, stick wood, painted blue, and fake bamboo, painted in pink, yellow, and green. I'm satisfied with the materials.
All right, so by now you're probably a little bit confused as to how Takenoko plays. So let's actually talk a little bit more about how this game actually plays. The idea behind this game is that each player gets 2 actions, but every turn they get to roll a weather die, which is going to affect everything. So the sun means that I get 3 actions, but you can never take the same action twice unless maybe you happen to roll wind, which does let you take the same action twice, or maybe you rolled a rain, which lets you add bamboo. And all the while, you've got these mission cards, and each player has a whole bunch of them, and you're trying to complete them. So with these missions, maybe you want to grow as much bamboo as the bamboo gardener needs, or maybe you want a specific configuration, but you don't have to get this as long as someone else gets it, but it has to be irrigated. These little buddies make things irrigated. In the center, we start out with this great pond, but then you have to try and get the water out to everything else, which creates problems, and it creates people kind of hoarding these, and then you create strategies of, well, am I going to wait to irrigate something? Should I see if my friend irrigates it first? Because if they irrigate it first, then I've still got these and I can use them later. Then you have these, which are kind of like the crappiest cards for everyone else, because this means you're moving the panda around to take and eat bamboo and then turning those bamboo in, and the person who's trying to grow bamboo is you're completely screwing them over. And the first person that gets so many of these cards wins the Emperor card, and at the end of the game, the player with the most points wins.
I like that it seems like a kid's game, but it really isn't. It's really kind of fun. You have to figure out, you know, what you're going to do, and so there's some strategy in it, and there's some luck with you drawing the cards to put on the board, and there's, you know, 3 different things you could do. Either find plots that match, or you grow bamboo and collect, or you have to eat the bamboo and collect. So there's 3 different things, and it's colorful.
Yeah.
And it has cute little...
It's great because you could play it with kids, but if you play it with adults, this like vindictive side comes out, and people are eating each other's bamboo, and people will make choices that have nothing to do with any of the quest cards they have. It'll simply be because they want to screw someone else over.
Really?
Yeah. And because when we played it, we noticed that certain people, like, maybe they didn't quite understand their quest cards, so they would just kind of start being vindictive instead, which is kind of cool. It's also, I will point out, something I love about this game is it plays just as well with 2 players as it does with 4. 2 players, it has sort of this like chess-like quality to it, where you're really vying against each other, trying to see who can complete their quest cards the fastest. And one of my favorite things about this game is it's so easy to teach. You can teach this game and have people, I love this, and have people playing it within a few minutes of pulling it out of the box, which is great. What else do you like about it?
Well, you know, we tried playing it with a 4-year-old, and all I did was, we just simplified the game, and you can play it with a 4-year-old.
Yeah, you can definitely play with kids.
You just make it really, really, really simple. Don't add a whole irrigation stuff. You know, just make everything really easy. And just start with 3 cards, and when they complete 3, you know, quests or whatever you want to call these things, then they win.
And definitely with kids a little bit older, they can definitely handle the entire game, because it's really not super complicated. Anything you change about the game?
Well, you know, I love the effects of the weather die. Like, this actually adds a lot more to it.
Yeah.
Because the weather die is going to, depending on what it gives you, what weather it is, it gives you different abilities that you wouldn't normally have. And I think that adds a lot of kind of variety to it. And
it adds a little bit of nice luck to it. In a game that's all strategy, it's nice that the weather die gives it a little bit of that luck chance. So maybe somebody is really strategic and they're a little bit more into board games than everyone else at the table, but because of the luck piece of the weather die, doesn't mean they're necessarily going to be the best player at the game, which is really great. Bam! Anything you would change about the game?
No.
No? If I had one thing, I would say it's that this game could easily have been a 5 or 6 player game, and it's only presented and given with these cards to do 4 players. And it easily could have had more by just adding 2 more of these cards into the box. I don't think it would be that chaotic to have that many players at all.
And I think there are some variations out there on the internet that you can look up where they add, like, you know, there's already a gardener, and then there's a who grows bamboo, and a panda that eats the bamboo, and then they added like a tiger or something that can eat them both. I don't know.
Yeah.
That can eat the gardener or eat the panda, or
And I know the collector's
Maybe they
edition.
eat the land. Yeah,
Oh,
they
yeah.
destroy land. But you can
That'd
have a
be cool.
big worm or a dragon that eats the trees
Ooh,
off
that'd
of
be
this,
cool.
or,
Yeah.
you know, or dries out the water in the lake.
Yeah. I mean, and then my only other thing, I know the collector's edition has larger pieces, but even for the regular edition, these are really adorable, but they are tiny. For a game that's supposed to be a little bit more meant for kids, it'd be great to have toys that were a little bit bigger.
But they got this cute.
Yeah. Oh, they do have cute. This is one of the only games I've ever seen with tiles dedicated completely to artwork that have nothing to do with the game. They're not even mentioned in the instructions, which I think is so interesting. They're just kind of thrown in there. So on this show, we're going to try and give a final verdict. Rather than do a point system, we're going to have a system of whether we think you should buy this game, just play this game at like a friend's house or at some place at a local game store where you can play it, or if you should just pass on it completely. What would you say?
How much does it cost?
The game costs, I believe, $40 at retail.
Ooh, I guess that's pretty common.
Yeah.
I definitely play it and would not pass on it. Would I own it? I'm pretty close to owning it. I mean, I think we have worse games.
Yeah.
And it's not a bad game at all. Actually,
No.
if we have 13, this could be my 5th.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I would own it.
Yeah, I would say if you're somebody who A, wants to play with your family or kids, or B, likes to play with people who don't typically play board games, you need something a little bit easier to teach them, definitely buy. But if you're someone who's a little bit more into the hardcore games and you play a lot of games and this might be too simple for you, so play it first. All right, that's our first episode of Game Night. Let us know in the comments down below whether you like the show. Let us know if you've played Takenoko or if you like it. Let us know if there's something you'd like us to play and review. We're getting games like crazy that we want to play and talk to you guys about. We want to hear what you're playing. This is at carlkaholi on Twitter. I'm at Cucamonga We'll put links to our blogs down below, and we'll see you next week. You look so grouchy with all those cards on your face.